Testing? All right, I think we got it. This is Brother Kevin coming to you on Reformation and Revival now, and I'm going to touch on an issue that's very controversial. And I don't like to touch controversial issues very often. I like to stick to the basics, but sometimes you don't have a choice. Forgive me. Sometimes you don't have a choice, and you have to be able to deal with certain subjects because the need is just so great. You know, a lot of times it's not about us. It's about God's will and God's plan for our lives. And I want to talk about a very controversial subject, and it's the subject of witchcraft. Now, this is a spontaneous video. The Lord's been dealing with me about this subject, and I really want to break it in to everybody that is listening. Those of you who love Reformation and Revival now and love the topics I talk about, I want to have your full attention on this subject. Because when we deal with the study of witchcraft, there's all sorts of things that go with it. There's the hocus pocus side, there's the Buffy, the vampire slayer, the witch side, and there's the tarot card side. But that is not really the side that you have to primarily deal with witchcraft. Understand that witchcraft has to deal with one basic thing: manipulation to get your way. That's the heart of all witchcraft. And most of the witchcraft that is done in our nation and in people's lives are not done through hocus pocus. That is a vehicle which Satan can use and does use heavily in many parts of the world. But I want you to know witchcraft is something that goes on every day of our lives. Now, before I make the statement, I want to say that I love technology and I love media, but I've got to be honest with you. Media is one of the things that Satan can really, really use to twist things to his advantage. In fact, I would say that probably one of the most powerful weapons of witchcraft right now is media. Let me give you an example. You have a particular liberal station, and they have certain, liberal views that the Democratic Party, stands by. And then you have another station that's more conservative, which more Republicans and conservative Republicans maybe listen to. And if you listen to these stations, they can both be talking about our president. And by the way, I don't make a living of criticizing my president. I make more of a living of praying for him. Okay, that's what God tells me to do in the 1 Timothy 2nd chapter, the first couple of verses there. Pray for your president. But anyway, you listen to the liberal side, and they'll tell you every great thing that President Obama has done. Oh, you listen to the Republican side, and President Obama is just a dog. I mean, my goodness. And so you hear one thing from the liberal side, and you hear another thing. On the Republican side, you might hear, hey, Donald Trump, he's really, going to bring some changes on the more Republican side. Oh, and a lot of Republicans don't like Donald Trump. I understand that. But if you listen to them, you get one view. Then you go to the liberal view. Oh, Donald Trump is the great Satan of the world, and we must fight him. And just go back and forth between the two stations. Just listen to 5 minutes of one and 5 minutes to the other, and you'll see what witchcraft primarily does. I'm going to spin the news in a liberal agenda or a conservative agenda to capture your mind. Oh, it's journalism. No, it's twisted journalism. It's journalism with a conservative view, Republican view, or it's journalism in a liberal Democratic view, or some other view. I'm just saying to you how they put a spin on the news, how they put a bend on the news. It's witchcraft 101. I want to say things in such a way to capture your mind, to make you think that what we're reporting, what we're saying is absolutely the truth and is right. And nothing that the other side is saying is true. Those liberal Democrats are all evil people. Those Republicans are all heartless, wicked people. And if you listen to both of these sides, it's just like a ping pong game. It's going back and forth, and the American public just falls for it. Instead of having your own conviction and doing the research, you're going to let somebody else tell you what to think. And that is how, unfortunately, Satan uses a lot of the media. Now, I'm not against media. I'm not against journalists. I'm just saying I have to tell you that. I have to tell you the fact that that is how witchcraft often goes on. I've seen that same technique used in other means. I've seen in relationships. I have seen people use money. I'm going to give you this money. If you do this, for me, I'll give you money. And we'll actually throw the money out there, actually drop little money pellets on the floor, per se, to let you know you're going to get more money if you do what I tell you. That's a form of witchcraft. That's manipulation. You might see it in the area of the sexual realm. A man or a woman might say, well, you know, I got something really lovely for you tonight, Missy or Mister, whatever, if you do this. And all of a sudden using sexuality to make you do certain things for them. And for some people, it's psychological. They're going to twist certain things and manipulate you with lies and do all sorts of deals to get you to go along with it. All these are forms of witchcraft in its more elementary state. Husbands and wives, please stay away from this. This really hurts marriages, and it keeps the love of God from flowing. Understand something about the love of God. The love of God is self-sacrificing in nature and doesn't need to receive anything in return. That destroys the spirit of witchcraft, because the spirit of witchcraft always wants something in return. It's about receiving a return. It's about getting what I want at all costs. But when the spirit of witchcraft is broken over a person or over a church or over an organization, in our case, over a nation, you don't have to get what you want. You only want God to receive a return on his kingdom plans, particularly for the Christian. The number one goal for the Christian is to do God's will and to bring the knowledge of Jesus Christ to every person. That's the primary goal. And of course, to be ready at his return. But when the spirit of witchcraft is broken, you no longer are trying to give to get or trying to influence somebody. I've seen people use this with money. They'll come on Christian TV and say, if you want 100-fold blessing, you sow into this ministry. This ministry is a going thing, and we're reaching out all over the world. And if you want to be able to get blessed, you sow into this ministry that's doing something. The exact opposite of what Jesus says. Jesus says, give to somebody that can't give you nothing. Then your reward will be great. Oh, so there's a conflict between what Jesus is saying and what a lot of these guys on TV saying. Now, I'm not saying that if there's a good ministry, you shouldn't give to it. I'm just saying giving to get is a form of witchcraft that has filtrated into the church. And what I want to do is start taking apart these witchcraft techniques, whether it's a brother or a sister, whether it's siblings, whether it's a minister and his flock, whether it's the Republicans and the Democrats. These are all things that are basic witchcraft. It's so predominant in the wedding. My wife and I, there's such love between us that we very seldom use witchcraft to talk to each other. Now, early in our marriage, we didn't know that we were doing certain things. When God brought it to our knowledge, we stopped, because you want love between your spouse. You don't want something given to you from your spouse that doesn't come from her heart or his heart. You'll wait. Nothing about love. Love will wait, because love wants you to be blessed. You know, well, I want this particular thing for my wife and she's not giving it to me. I want this particular thing for my husband. He's not giving it to me. But love will wait. And love will also reserve and say, if I never get it, I'm going to continue to love my spouse. And when that is established in your life, you know witchcraft is broken. It's not influencing you. Witchcraft has become so pronounced that it's everywhere, in advertisements, media, newspapers. The witchcraft is so powerful and so predominant that you don't need a witch flying around with a broom anymore. There's not even necessary to have hocus pocus, because all these things going on in our community in our society today are so witchcraft based. Every special interest group you can name, they want something, and I'm going to do this to make you give me what I want. That's witchcraft, folks. But we're going to talk more about that as time goes on. This is Brother Kevin. I'll be coming to you with other video messages on this subject, so please stay tuned because we're going to get into some serious stuff. All right, God bless you. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye.